Okay. So last week we talked about Pinterest and just why it is such an amazing platform that many of us are missing out on. Even if we have a presence, a lot of us aren't using it to really convert to traffic to our websites or our blogs or Instagram profile or Instagrams, really to anywhere. So the goal here is, last week I felt like it was my job to convince you to get onto Pinterest, right? And to why it's so important. And I know Noelle does this for her clients and can probably attest to all those things, if not add more, as to why it is such a great platform. And Diana gave us some examples last week too of how she uses it, and how it has helped her increase her blog traffic. And many of you don't have an actual blog, but you do have businesses that, you're either trying to convert into leads or say, or take to a sales page, or even to just gain authority on your niche or your subject and lead them either back to your Instagram or wherever it is. So we're going to talk today more about details about the strategy behind it. And Noelle, I know you do this as a job, so please hop in if I'm wrong, or because I'm just going off of what I've learned, but you actually practice it on a daily basis. So please hop in if if you can add anything to it
as we speak in the background.
There you go. See, she's a woman at work. But I come up with some, not come up. I have researched, some of the good ideas behind strategy and how to use it and how to actually this is like the nitty gritty, right? This is the details of Pinterest. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some ideas around that. I will put, again, all this in notes, just like I do every week, so that you can have it. But have any of you, and you can speak up here if you want, put any thought into this since last week and thought maybe I should be on Pinterest, or maybe I should up my game on Pinterest? Anyone? Show of hands? No? All right. Well, I'm going to keep going because I'm going to try and convince you of why. And like I said, I am consulting with another company right now. And I mean, it is a major portion of what I want to do there, because I really do believe that it's important. And even if you're not trying to sell something, actually sell something on Pinterest, it is just another place if you to get eyes to what you do and to show that you are like I said, an expert in your field or an expert in your niche. And like I said last week, many of you, our ideal customer lives there. And as opposed to the other social platforms where you are fighting for attention amongst all of the world, on Pinterest, really many of you, your target audience falls in that range. It's female, 25 to 44 with a household income of $100,000 plus a year. So again, it's like shooting fish in a barrel on Pinterest, as opposed to casting this giant wide net on Instagram and Facebook. So just keep that in mind. But let's talk about how to actually use Pinterest. And last week we talked a lot about the changes in 2020 and how fresh content, fresh pins, new pins are what is working in the algorithm, in the Pinterest algorithm. And it doesn't mean that your content has to be new. Like, it could be the same old sales page or sales funnel, or it could be the same old blog post. It's just that it needs new images, new captions, and we'll talk about how to do that. So let's talk first about how to use keywords on Pinterest and where you can use them. Keywords, like we said last week, Pinterest is a search engine. So people come to it looking for solutions to their problems, right? I mean, I know, because I'm buying a house right now and I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do, what paint colors and the formal living room. I'm on there looking at like green wall living room, and all these things, and, such and such couch, and trying to get ideas, because those are my problems, right? I don't have a solution to yet. And so I'm going there and searching for that. So anyone that has put the word green wall living room in their caption or in their photo is probably going to pop up in my feed. And I am noticing, because I've been doing this for a few weeks now, that I'm seeing the same pins over and over and over. And many people will tell you that over the years. In fact, just organically using it, there's a couple of recipes that I use from Pinterest that I haven't even saved. I mean to every time, but I haven't, because I know if I go type it in, what I'm looking for, that same pin is going to pop up at the top every single time. So like we said last week, there's an opportunity for your pins to last a very long time on Pinterest. But Pinterest is really trying to encourage people to put fresh pins out, fresh graphics, fresh text. So we'll start there. But with keywords, Keywords are exactly what you think they are. It's just like SEO for Google. They just don't call it SEO. It's just the keywords. And the way you find out what keywords are, that Pinterest people are looking for, there isn't really like a keyword search the way Google, has all these like plugins and things you can use to or apps, and there's other websites you can go to. But you have to think that they're probably running pretty similarly to like a Google. But also, if you just go to the top of your Pinterest account, when you get onto Pinterest and you hit the search button and start typing in some of the words that you would naturally use if you were looking for you, right? So if I am looking for, somebody who can tell me about, interior design, and I go type in, interior designer, then there's going to be not only what I am looking for, but also it does, just like Google does, it gives you the other things that are searched for as well. And then I want to show you guys something. I'm going to share my screen and show you another place to look for this. Hold on. Here we go, Google, Pinterest. Okay. So this is like my home page here. And you know what? I'm on my business account, so I don't even know where I find my feed. Okay, home feed. Here we go. So if I want to search for something here on Pinterest, let me move you guys off to the side. Hold on. Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to move y'all down. Your Zoom pictures down. Okay, the little search bar, or little search here at the top. I'm going to, you can see what I've been looking up lately. Green and gray room, British colonial decor, how to cook tuna steak in the oven. Like, this is my life right now. So Cleverly Chic is a blogger that I'm working with right now who does not have a Pinterest presence, but I'm trying to get her to. So anyway, if I want to type in here, let's see, oh gosh, okay. I'm drawing a blank. Somebody give me a topic to look up. Oh my gosh. How to design a living room. Okay, so as you can see, as I'm starting to type this in, there are other ideas here, as to what I can use. So if I am an interior designer and I want to share this type of stuff, I can look at this and see that these are the keywords that people are looking for. And I want to use some of these keywords in my descriptions, in my headline, and in my photo, etc. Now, if I say how to design my living room, not only do I get that, but, oh, where is it? Oh wait, let's try to just click on this. Nope, it's not gonna work. On my phone, I don't know why it's not doing it on here, and maybe Noelle, you can hop in here, but on my phone, up along here at the top where it says explore and shop, there are actually little colored squares that give you other topic ideas that are related to this as well. So I don't know why it's not hopping up here.
And if you just maybe go back to that search page, type in a little less detail. So like just type in maybe living room.
Okay.
It should come up with like the little bars that you're talking about.
Okay. Yep, there it is. Okay, so these little squares here, guys, are giving me other ideas as to how to get more niche down into this topic. So I put in living room, and it's giving me other, ideas. So these are the ways that I was going to say that you can research what keywords people are looking for. So people must be looking up French country living room. So if that's something that I'm a designer and I want people to read my post, I'm going to click on that now. Somewhere in here, in these either descriptions or maybe in their, what's the word for when you rename a photo? There's a word for that. Like when you take the name of a photo and you can rename it. Anyway, sorry guys, I'll look into that. But there's you can rename your photos, and your name of your photo can have the keywords in it. And then I'm going to go through here, other places that you can use keywords, but somehow French country living room is associated with all of these photos, all of these pins that have popped up here. So those are a couple of ways that you can look for keywords. And then now, what do we do with these keywords? So we can use them in a lot of places. So it's obvious that you want to use keywords in your captions, hang on, or your descriptions, they call it. It's not really captions here, it's descriptions. Okay, so you want to use them in your descriptions. Let me share my screen again. Sorry, I don't know why I went off of that. Okay, let me go back to my page. All right, so I want to use keywords in the descriptions, which I mom style summer outfit. Sure. I used the keywords, but I didn't make that very reader friendly, but it does have those keywords in it. A mom style summer outfit was what I had stuck there for some reason. Oh, because I put it from Instagram. Here's the better ways. 5 ways to style a white tee, mom summer outfits. So this is a great place to use it. And I'm going to click on this. That's actually the headline. I'm sorry. That's the headline. So that's what's going to pop up underneath the photo. And then this is where you get to put your description in here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but you know, where I'm like my little arrow, but underneath the headline, you can see that there is a description. So this is another great place where you have more room, more real estate here to use your keywords and to talk and speak in a normal reading tone, right? We don't read it and it doesn't say video, 5 ways to style a white tee, watch. You know, it says, yeah, sharing 5 fun ways to style a classic white t-shirt, get out of the yoga pants red. I mean, it really goes into detail here. So those are a couple of places that you can use keywords. Those are probably the most important. Again, you can rename these, your images. Let me go back here. You can rename your images when you're posting them though, so that it doesn't say like CRX125, you know, .jpeg. It can actually, you could rename it 5 ways white tee, or, you know, a couple of those keywords. The other thing that Pinterest does have the capability to do, I don't think it's really well known if they actually use it, but all these words that I put on top of my image can also be read. I know Google does that for sure, and I think Pinterest, if they're not doing it, will go that way. So anything that I write on top of this can also be read and also be used in keywords. So just think of that like any text overlays. The other great places to use keywords are in your profile, and your profile has a little bit of real estate here where you get to put a description of who you are and what you do. And then your title. I mean, obviously if you're wanting to be on brand, I'm just going to keep it the Mama Crush. That's not probably something that people are searching for. But if I wanted to, I could use a keyword in there. The other place that you can use them is in your boards. So your boards, I realized that I've done it wrong. So your boards should actually be named legitimate keywords that people are looking for. That way Pinterest knows exactly what your pins are about, exactly where you know, they should send people. So I put momapreneur here, and maybe that's a keyword that people search, but more than likely it would be mom-owned business, or you know, something along those lines. I mean, I could look up the keywords and see. But you want to be really straightforward. I know in the past it's been a trend for people to be a little more like fun with these titles. I have a girlfriend who her book board, you know, where she puts in books, is called Word, and which is cute. But if I was a business person trying to promote my book boards, I'm going to put books to read, or, you know, best books, or something along those lines, something with keywords. So it can't be cryptic. It can't be something that Pinterest doesn't really know what you're talking about. If it's cute, you know, save that for your personal page or your secret boards that you're keeping for yourself. So let me see, let me go back to here. So those are a few of the places, not a few, those are the places that you should be using keywords. That is how Pinterest does all their magical computer, you know, wizardry, and finds out exactly what you're talking about, what you're pinning, and what content, you know, what other people's content you're pinning, so that they know exactly what your business is about and who they should be showing it to. So I think it's extremely important that you work on those keywords. And I obviously have a lot of cleaning up to do in the Mama Crush. Okay, so let's see. The next thing about Pinterest that, you know, the nitty-gritty details, is that you need to come up with a plan or a strategy and stick to it. So we say this about every social media platform, every Google, you know, every search engine platform, but with Pinterest, the consistency is really key. And I know we say that on every, you know, everything that we talk about with marketing. I mean, it really, consistency is key on anything. But with Pinterest, if you want to see success, I know that Diana, you know, has had a lot of success with Pinterest, but she got very serious and said, I'm going to pin so many pins per day. I'm going to pin, you know, this many of my own, this many of other people's, and went from there. So I've taken a couple of Pinterest courses over the years. I took one very recently, a couple weeks ago. and have read all I can read on Pinterest about Pinterest and listened to podcasts. And I have heard overwhelmingly, you know, that you should be pinning 30 to 50 pins a day, which is a lot, right? It's crazy. And no, that doesn't mean you have to have 30 pins of your own that you've created. You know, it definitely includes pinning other people's content to your own boards. But I know like Diana last week said, you know, she was using that method and then she, you know, kind of took it down a notch to now, I can't remember the exact number, and Diana, you can hop in if I'm wrong, but I think it was 12 to 15 a day. And for her, it was getting the same results. So it's almost like she did a testing, you know, to see like what was going to work. Noelle was shaking her head at the 30 to 50 pins a day because she does this for a living and this is what gains traction for her customers. So, or her clients. But you have to, yeah, go ahead.
Even post 30.
Say that again.
A lot of mine aren't even close to 30. When they have a lot of content and we're doing like a repin cycle, those are counting towards the number of pins a day. So they have more, but like in terms of, I mean, Diana, you can chime in too, because I know you do a lot of this. In terms of like new pins, like I'm really only going like 1 to 2 new pins. A lot of it is repurpose, like repinning of their own stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, that's right. So I want to make that clear with everybody because it can be very confusing. In those 30 to 50 pins or whatever you decide, like Diana's 12 to 15 pins a day, she has her own content, right? Her own fresh new pins. She has other people's pins that she is tacking onto her own boards and recycling your pins that you've already pinned before. So you can see on there, I had like, I don't know what it was, 8 boards, right? So if I have a pin and it's about 5 ways to style a white t-shirt, that may fall on, you know, one day I pin it to mom style. Another day I pin it to t-shirts, you know, whatever board is appropriate for it. So you want to pin to multiple boards and you can spread that out. And so, but then I can also go back and make a new photo and a new description and still link it to that same video, you know, and then pin that and then pin that to another board. So there are ways to make your content last longer. And there are ways to make it stretch out further over a week or months, you know, whatever. And also it's a great idea because pins are evergreen, basically, like they can live on there forever. My dog is starting to go crazy. The pool guy must be here. You can set yourself up, you know, reminders, and this tailwind is a great reason for this, that you can set yourself up reminders to do it seasonally, right? So Diana probably does this a lot because a lot of her food recipes are seasonal. So all of the holiday baking that she does, she's not pinning throughout spring and summer, but getting close to the fall, she's going to start putting that back into the rotation. So you have to think about it that way too, is that your pins can last a very long time and they can be reused. So 30 to 50 may sound like a lot, and even 12 to 15 may sound like a lot. But if you can give yourself a nice balance of things that you've created and then also things that other people have created, you can get to that number. When you are pinning other people's pins, I still want you to think about your own boards and who your audience is, and don't just pin. So if my whole Mama Crush you know, profile and boards are all about mom style, like I had cooking on there and all kinds of stuff, I need to probably clean all that out, because if I want this to be for my business, I need to niche it down, right? And to just stick to what I'm doing, what I'm best at. If I really want to keep a cooking board, there's a little button you can hit for secret, and that can be for my own personal use so that I can pin those things and they don't really affect, you know, my audience and what they're looking at. So make sure that you keep your audience in mind. So every time you pin something that you've created, it's meant for your ideal audience to find, right? It's the same thing when you're pinning somebody else's information or content. So if I go in and then search for other women and how they've styled, you know, other stylists and how they've styled a white t-shirt, I might pin their pins to my boards. Okay. So all of that gives Pinterest the knowledge to know, hey, this woman or this business, the Mama Crush, is all about style, is all about how to style a t-shirt, is all about, you know, it gets very specific, and they know that you are the person to go to when it comes to that, even if it's not just your own content. So I'm getting a head shake from Steph, but and most everyone else has their pictures on. So I just want to make sure that we're all following along, that it's not like you're having to create this 12 to 50, whatever it is, pins of your own every day. All right. This is also where an app like Tailwind comes in very, very, not just handy. I don't want to say it's handy. I want to say it's almost vital in order to be able to do this. And I saw Noelle shake her head, Diana shake her head. Dana, I don't know, you're blocked out, so I don't know if you can talk or not, but I'm sure that you use Pinterest because you're a blogger. And if I'm not, correct me, but I don't know if you want to give a little bit about, info about how you use it and what your strategy
Sure.
is. Yeah.
Sure. So I've been using it since I think Pinterest started, and it is my number one traffic generator. It is, I don't know, it's great because like you said, like the pins are evergreen. Um, as the algorithm changes or there's updates to Pinterest, I do like go back into my boards and stuff like that and change keywords, and you can use hashtags and things like that.
Right.
But it's a huge, huge traffic generator for me. And then like what I do with my boards too is if it's like summer's coming up. So the top 4 boards I think that could go across are summer related because it's above the fold. And those are the ones that people might go to as frequently or more frequently because that's like top of mind topics and stuff. But I swear by it, and I swear by Tailwind.
That's awesome. And that's exactly what I was, trying to drive home is that using Tailwind, because we don't all have time to sit down and pin 12 to 50, whatever your magic number is, pins a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention that Pinterest the algorithm frowns upon it if you sit and do them all at once. They would much rather you space it out over time. So it's almost like you're a content generator, maybe 12 hours of the day. You're generating content or pinning other people's content on a pretty constant basis. And that's where something like Tailwind can come in as your lifesaver, right? And your time.
It is totally.
Yeah. And it's very user friendly. I mean, there are things on there. I used to use it with Mama Crush, and there are things on there that are with Mama Crush Boutique that I didn't even know how to use, right? But if I had spent the time and energy, there's probably so many tools on there. There's like this smart loop, their analytics are amazing. There was a couple other things that I had written down, the Tailwind Tribes. There are things that they have and they offer. I thought I heard that Tailwind does templates now too, like, and speaking of pins, so templates. So I haven't been on Tailwind in a while, so I don't know if they offer templates or not, but Canva does offer templates. And I just want you guys to know that you don't have to recreate the wheel here. Companies like Canva and Tailwind have done all the research for you. They know what is going to draw attention and what is going to look the best and how to exactly design it, and you're not messing around. And if you use Canva, you guys know how easy it is, and you can use a free version for a very long time. So I would highly recommend using that to make a pin. Otherwise, I don't even know, how you would create an eye-catching pin without it. But people did it, I guess, before Canva, and it just makes it that much easier. So when you're creating a pin, and like I said, and you're using all these keywords and you're making a description and you have it linked back to your website or to a photo on Instagram or somewhere on there, don't recreate the wheel. Use Canva, use templates, make it easier on yourself. So, okay.
You know what you can do? I'm sorry to interrupt, but what you can
please.
do is sign up for Tailwind's email newsletters, because they do come out with every month new templates, Canva templates.
That's awesome to know.
And based on their research of what works.
Right.
So I downloaded, once I found out about it, I downloaded since like January. But it's like you said, don't recreate the wheel. They do it. They just came out with, I think I just downloaded May recently, but every month they do that.
Right. They're the experts, and Tailwind works hand in hand with Pinterest. And so they are the experts, and they have millions of dollars in computers and all the good stuff to figure out exactly what is working and what's getting clicked on and what's getting searched. So take their advice, right? Like, there's no reason not to. Let's see. So once you create a plan for Pinterest, let's say that you've decided, all right, I want to start out here with like 12 pins a day, and I want to do 6 of them of my own and 6 of them of other people's. I'm just kind of spitting out words here, but are spitting out a plan. then you have to stick to it, right? And you have to figure out a way to make it happen. And like I said, using something like Tailwind is extremely helpful in this and can make it much more intuitive for you where you're not just floundering. So getting on there, I know it sounds like crazy. And I think I put it in today's email, like, I know your plates are full and I know that you don't need one more thing to do, but I would really, I would really, like, I don't want to say beg you, beg is not the right word, but encourage you to think about how much of that plate is full of things that are not converting. Are you getting a couple more Instagram followers a month? I mean, I mean that literally. Like, I don't think my Instagram has grown in ages. I haven't paid attention to it in ages either, but it's been a long time at the same number, and I don't get customers from Instagram. It is great to have as a social presence and for, to show people. And it's a great, like, portfolio, of the looks that I curate and what I do and such. So I'll never abandon it, but I'm going to put a lot less effort into that and more effort into Pinterest if my goal is to drive traffic to my site so that people know what I offer and to read my blog posts and that sort of thing. So I just really want you to think about that. The other thing is, and I think it was a woman from Tailwind, one of the, Elisa, I think she's like one of the head people over there. It was a podcast I was listening to, and she said, it's so funny that most businesses, small businesses, don't even have Pinterest in their top 5 marketing plan. Like, they just don't. But there are, I can't remember how many millions of users. I mean, there's millions and millions of users. And like I said, that target audience is there. They're the ones using it. And so she had spoken to a guy who said, he owned a business. I can't remember what he sold. And he said something like, oh yeah, we do Instagram, we do Facebook. We do a lot on LinkedIn, but Pinterest isn't for us, And she was like, really? Well, who's your target customer? And he said, oh, women, blah, 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 and she's like, listen, if you don't want to be on it, it's more for me, right? That's just more for me. However, I really think you're missing out. And she's like, I don't get it why people don't have Pinterest up at the top. And as I'm listening to all this and I'm doing all this research, and I'm like, I've always known Pinterest is important, and especially for bloggers, I've always heard that. But for a business, I mean, there's just no reason that I shouldn't be on there. So those are my people. Those are the ones I want to talk to, and many of you as well. Let's see. So creating a pin, and ladies, correct me if I'm wrong because it's been a while since I've done it. I was just playing around the other day. That's why I had a couple of Instagram posts or Instagram graphics on there, because you can pin from Instagram. So if you aren't somebody that blogs regularly, or you're just like, I'm not sure where I want to send people, right? I'm not sure, like, if I would only be sending them to my website, maybe views on your website aren't as important to you, although that's just more eyes on your own information in your own business. But let's say you don't have a website and you don't have a blog. You can pin from Instagram. You can pin from there. You can pin from Facebook. So if you wrote this amazing caption on Instagram, a post, and it got so much attention and so much, interaction and activity, and it's something you feel like you should be sharing on Pinterest, you can do that, and it can lead them back there. Like we said last week, Pinterest is the only platform that encourages people to click off and encourages intuitively for people to go somewhere else, because they know that they are good enough that people are going to come back. They're not worried about that. It doesn't matter to them how long you are spending in one session. They know you're going to come back when you need it. And that's 100% true. So just keep that in mind as you're using it. So let me see where we're at. Okay. So if you come up with a pin and you're like, okay, I have this blog post, or and I want to share it on Pinterest, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write my blog post, and that takes time, and you're coming up with all the SEO for that, and you're doing that, and you're just trying to figure out WordPress, and you're getting it all on your website, and you get it, and you're like, publish, yay, woohoo. That's not the end. You're going to also want to promote that on all your social media platforms, just like you normally would. So you would go and you mention it on Instagram and link back to it. You would mention it on wherever else you are. So if you want to then create a pin for it on Pinterest, and you will go in, it's very user-friendly when you create a pin. It takes you through the steps. You create a pin, you just hit the little plus sign, and then you fill in all the stuff, and you create that pin. don't stop there, right? You can pin it, go ahead, get it on there, or put it in your scheduler for on Tailwind, but then go ahead at that moment and set up 2 to 3 more images or 2 to 3 more pins for it, but don't publish those yet. Don't put them in, don't publish them at the same time. You can then spread them out in your scheduler and see and use them over time. So the goal here is to get multiple pins from one piece of content, if that makes sense. So I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but I just want to make sure everybody understands, exactly what you can do and how you can use it. Let's see, where else do I have on here? A really good just exercise for everyone to do, and I might have mentioned this last week, but is to, if you're thinking about doing this and you are thinking about really developing a strategy, is to just go on Pinterest just as a normal person and just do some organic Pinteresting, right? Like just go on there, see how you do it. What is it, your nature? Like, don't think of it as a business owner. Just think of it as Leanne, person looking for XYZ, and which I have been doing a lot of lately, and just use it organically. What kind of pins are you saving? When you are looking through pins, what catches your eye? For me, I cannot stand pins with lots and lots of text and no picture. It's just not my thing. So I never click on those. If it doesn't have a really good headline and like something legit I can see written in the description, I'm not going to click on it. So knowing that, I want to apply that to what I do. So I'm never going to use text because style is very image focused and image related. And so I'm not going to use just text on my pins. I'm always going to make sure my headlines and my descriptions are filled in because I want people to click on them. So you just have to think of it that way and just go in there and naturally do it. It's a great idea to set up some secret boards because even if it doesn't relate to your topic, it's again, the things that catch your eye and the things that made you actually click on something, right? So keep those in your secret boards just so you have for your own knowledge, but plus it may just be cool stuff you want to remember or you want to keep. So I would highly suggest go on there and try to use it organically and naturally and kind of get a feel for how you think your customer, your audience would use it. All right, let's see what else we got here. So much. Video is great for Pinterest as well. Short form video. When I say video, when you go on Pinterest, you're starting to see a little bit, and use it organically, use it naturally, like just a user, you're starting to see more moving images on here. It's not a ton, it's not overwhelming. Classic pins are still ruling the airwaves there. But, this is something you might be able to play with and might be able to look into, kind of short form like boomerang or something just small where you're moving. I know that the company that I'm consulting for, there's a lot of videos of women in the clothes, and we can use a 3-second clip or 5-second clip in there, and use it. So just keep that in mind, that video is the wave of everything moving forward. And so you really should try and get in on the game and learn a little bit about that. If it applies to your business, if it doesn't apply to your business, don't do it. But if it does, it might be a really good way to get noticed or catch some eyes on Pinterest. Let's see. Pinterest is an excellent place for lead magnets to capture emails. Okay, so if you are trying to build an email list, Pinterest can be extremely useful and extremely helpful. Anytime you have any sort of offer, and we've talked about this in the past with Business Casual, but I know we have a lot of new faces around, talked about creating lead magnets, things that people can download, things that people can get for you for free, discounts, that sort of thing. Pinterest is a fantastic place to lead people to that downloadable, to lead people to that email capture, page that you have. So just keep that in mind when you're creating stuff. It doesn't always have to be a blog post, that we're getting back to, or, it can get creative and you can lead people to a sales page or a lead page or lead magnet page where you're capturing their email to give them something in return. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Oh my gosh, that might have been all the notes I had. So my Pinterest ladies, is there anything you would like to add? Any kind of tips or tricks that, you think would be really helpful for someone who is starting out? Like, is there anything that you would do differently now that, you did maybe from the beginning, or that you've changed along the way? No.
Well, I think it's helpful to create secret boards first, and then um, you could make them go live once you have like 10 to 13 pins in there also, to make it more of a
Like
relevant
rich.
board.
Yeah.
But definitely multiple pins per article or whatever, because something that might catch my eye might not have caught your eye, but it's the same topic that you might both be interested in, like countertops, or you know what I mean, something like that. Like, if so that it's really good. It's almost like an A/B test per se.
I was just going to say that. I don't know how many of you are familiar with A/B testing, but it's when you put two things out that lead to the same place and see which one captures more attention. A lot of Facebook ads do this, right? So they'll do two different types of ads leading to the same thing and see which one is gaining the most attention, and then quickly switch over and put all their energy into the one that's winning. So Pinterest is exactly that. It's almost like you're always A/B testing, right? If you're creating multiple pins.
Yeah, no, for sure. I can't say enough about Pinterest. I love it so much.
You sound just like Diana did last week. She said the same thing. So we know it works for bloggers if they have a strategy and they stick to it. But
Yep.
this isn't just for bloggers, ladies. This
No,
really, what Pinterest is trying to do is encourage other businesses to follow the blogger's lead, right? And there is something here for everyone. Those of you that sell products, I think Shannon's the only person on right now that sells it. Or no, Stephanie sells products too. But those of you that sell products, I mean, Shannon having her own website, her own store, she, I know like it works hand in hand with Shopify. I'm sure it works with other platforms as well. But, you can link the two so that it is so simple to pin something from your shop and to automatically be able to shop it right then and there, or for them, when they click on it, they're right on that page. So there are definite ways for every business to use it. And as a female owned, entrepreneur, or female owned business, an entrepreneur who's trying to do it all herself, this is why I said it might be room to make some room on that. I mean, it might be time to make some room on that plate. For me, Instagram, like I said, I will probably always put a couple of pictures out and stories. Everyone loves stories. But as far as my focus and my strategy and my money is going to go to Pinterest. I am so much more willing to spend I think it was $9.99 a month on Tailwind, and then with that discount code I gave out, it's like $7.50 a month on Tailwind, than I am in putting money into like Instagram ads. It doesn't make any sense for me, right? So just think about it that way, ladies. I know all these things add up, and like I said, it can be really overwhelming. But my goal here with this last 2 weeks, last week and this week, is to really encourage you to think about that. And we can get more detailed, especially as I start working on it for my businesses. We can come back to this topic too, and find out what's working for everyone and how you can fit it into your busy days, your busy schedules. So for like Dana, Diana, Noelle, it's just a part of their natural habits every week, right? It's just a part of their natural strategy. And Diana, how much time would you say, or how often are you getting on there and planning out like content on Tailwind, like what you're going to be pinning? Like, what do you do? Do you do it once a week, or do you do it once a
week?
Once a week.
I sit down and I schedule out, and I usually do probably 20 to 30 a day. For each week, for each day of the week, and then I'm done. It's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I mean, you've been doing it a really long time, so I'm sure you've got it down to a science. And for others, it'll take us a little bit, just like any new thing that we learn. It'll take us a little while to figure out, how to do it smoothly. And as far as creating pins too, creating pins can be time consuming, especially when you're starting out and you're not really sure what you're doing, and you're wanting to play, you're wanting to figure it out. But once you get it going, once you get it started, I know for Diana, she's like, when I'm done with a blog post, I bam, 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 pop those, Pinterest pins out, and they're ready to go. They're lined up in her organized calendar, and because she's super organized, and and then she's able to just pop them out. So, and Noelle, you run multiple Pinterest, companies, or multiple Pinterest strategies for different companies. How often are you in Tailwind, or are you in, using that sort of thing?
So I'm actually doing it more once a month. When I devote, I mean, I think I'm a batch worker.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I
Sure.
basically, if it's a blog, then I create 2 graphics for that every blog post. And then like I just create like a giant batch and like, I don't know. I just feel like it's easier for me if I'm going to devote. So literally this whole morning, I spent probably 3 hours in Tailwind on one client, but that's
Much,
for the entire month.
wow. As much as I preach on batching, we have some serious batching superheroes in our group. Noelle is one of them. Diana is really good.
It's
Hannah
easier
is
to do it.
amazing. Hannah's not here today, but she's awesome. Like some of these ladies have got it down, and I really need to work on that.
I mean, I
It's
honestly, just listening to Dana, I'm like, should I be in there once a week? But I'm like, I just don't have the time to go in there once a
no,
week.
no, you don't have to. I
I'm
get
like,
tired after a little while, and I'm kind of like, all right, I'll just do it next week. That's why I do it.
yeah, no. So I'm like, sometimes I'll do like, sometimes I break it up. I mean, I know a lot of us are moms on here. I don't always have 3 hours to sit and just do one thing. So sometimes I'll break it up and do like the graphics portion on like one week, and then the next week I do all like content writing and scheduling it part. So, but yeah, I would say don't even bother trying to do a Pinterest for your business if you're not going to invest in Tailwind.
All right, well, there you go, ladies.
I've done the same thing. Sorry, I'm chiming in now just because I was having an emergency situation with the blog. It went down for a second and I was trying to figure out what to do. Anyway, I'm okay now. Everything's good.
Okay, good.
But same with me with the batching. I feel like once I kind of got that streamlined thing down where I was doing the monthly, figuring out like what I was going to be posting for the entire month, I kind of do it how Noelle does, where I sit down for like a few hours if I can, or, throughout the day. So sometimes it'll take me up to 1 to 2 days, but I can plan out a ton of content like for 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how long I sit down and do it. But I feel like it just makes more sense because once you're in that flow of like, click, do this, click, you just kind of get in a routine, and then you can crank out a bunch at once and it's easier that way. But, if it's part of your workflow, kind of like Dana was saying, then it makes sense to do it at the end of, if you have it like planned out where like 1 day a week you're doing that one particular thing, it's kind of the same thing, just broken down into different time frames. So, yep, you just have to figure out whatever works for you.
That's awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you, ladies, for all your advice and help. And, like I said, I'll put this into notes next week. I am super excited. I've been working on our Business Casual Hub, our website. It's very exciting. It's not as pretty as I would hope, but it's all there, and that's what's important. So it's all getting there. So, we'll be able to keep track of all these things and to talk amongst each other about what's working and what's not, and to know who our experts are in their fields and who we can ask questions to. So thank you guys for coming today. I don't think I have any other announcements. I see Sahili's here. So ladies, I want to make sure that you know about the book club. She has started a book club, business book club, and it's on Thursdays at noon, and there's a separate Zoom number to use. If you want it, you can always reach out to either one of us, Sahili or Leanne.
It's also on the Facebook group, by the way.
And it's on the Facebook group, and I'll try to remember from now on to put it in the weekly email. Right now they are reading the Simon Sinek book. What is it?
We're at the one thing already.
Oh, they already moved on to something else.
Yeah.
Sorry. This shows you I'm not keeping up with it. But if you are interested, ladies, please hop in. It's very casual, like everything, it's business casual. Your attendance is not mandatory, but if you have been wanting to read some really good books, they are plowing through them. So, definitely get in there and then find out and get some comments and some talk going about all the really cool things they're learning in these books. So just wanted to make a plug for that. And anything else? Anyone else got anything they want to talk about or go on? We are actually ending on time today. I didn't talk too much, or I probably did, but anyway, I had just enough content today. So, okay, ladies, thank you so much for joining. I am so excited. And if you talk to any of our other members and they want to be on Thursday nights, I haven't had anyone show up. Or last week, well, no, Jessica, I forgot her last name, McGillicuddy, yeah, from Pop Home came last week. And she and I basically had like a one-on-one kind of consultation. So we do have a fewer people show up on Thursday night. But if you are interested or anyone else in our group that's missing meetings, I definitely need to personally reach out to everyone in our group and just kind of remind them what we've got going on. But not everybody opens their emails. So just want to make sure that everybody knows that we still do Thursday nights at 8. All right. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Leanne.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.